Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the video. This time is the Figuarts Avengers Nebula from Infinity War. Yeah, I had to pause right there, so I think it was Endgame or Infinity War, but don't mind me. Anyway, let's jump into this cool video. Let's talk about the figure, and let's get started. I want to start by saying I know we waited a while for a figure like this, and it's actually been really cool to have, and I'm really hoping that we get more, especially for those of us who love the MCU and want to see more from the MCU. I think the biggest issue is that a lot of stuff comes out far later than what we want, at least from the Bandai representation, whereas we've gotten a lot of interpretations from Hasbro already. Even Mafex, we kind of want more and more, and it's just a little too slow. And I guess we're spoiled, right? Biggest way to explain it. But anyway, let's jump to this figure. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and everything else in between, right? So as usual, we'll start with articulation, which is my favorite part. So the head can look up, it can look down, the neck can actually move a little bit forward and to the left and to the right. So you have movement and range for expression, things like that. And one of the coolest things about that kind of stuff is I know a lot of photographers who aim for expression and mood. So it works to have that little bit of angle. You know what I mean? Even just cool stuff like tilting the head to the side to make her look a little bit more angry at Gamora. Stuff like that goes a long way for people who are going to pose their toys. You know what I mean? It may not work the same with everybody, but that's what we aim for. And for those of you who like vanilla or static poses, there's nothing wrong with that anyway. I think that's fine just as well. Now, as far as arm articulation goes, you have a butterfly joint that actually gives you range to move her arms forward like this, which is very nice. I think the coolest thing about that is you actually get a simulated range for the bicep swivel as well. But you don't get that bicep swivel here. You're gonna get it on the entire joint in general, which is nice. But when it's done too tightly, like done with certain Spider-Man figures, what happens is you worry about breakage. You don't have that issue here with Nebula, which is actually pretty cool. They've actually oiled it as well too, unlike Spider-Man, which was not oiled. And what's also crazy about that is I know you hear the squeaking, but again, no issues. It flows naturally. She is single jointed, but she has a V cut, and that V cut also has a little bit of rotation that allows you to swivel like this. It's nothing crazy, and I definitely prefer double jointed on my female figures, but I don't know aesthetic wise, or maybe it's a license issue about why we can't have double joints. I totally wish we did have it though. The arms can go up this way, and as you saw, they rotate all the way around with no issue with the butterfly joint. But when you're rotating it all the way around, just be careful to follow up where you left off at, and that way you can come back in, pose the arm right back up. You can even go up and down too. Now, as far as waist swivel goes, let's pull these arms up. You can rotate left and right. Just be careful. If you rotate a little too far, they may be paint rubbed for the long run. So just be a little bit aware of that. You can go backwards like this. Let me actually rotate that arm down so you guys can see. As you can see, the backwards crunch. And now we're going to go with the forward crunch, which is not much. So that's something. There's a little bit of waist swivel here at the bottom. So actually you get a way of sway and movement that allows you to tilt side to side. Again, for that extra bit of expression. As far as legs go, we're getting a little bit new. Well, I wouldn't even call it new, but we're getting a leg mold that we haven't previously used, at least in this shape and form and fashion, on female figures for the MCU. So you have the old school drop down method, but you have the thigh swivel, and it's on a tighter, better rotating joint that looks clean here on the figure, which is actually pretty nice. I like that a lot. Here you have the sidearm attachment, which is attached to her belt, and it does not attach to the leg, so you can actually move that up and down. If it gets warped, you can use hot water treatment to just fix that. Now, when you're pulling the leg out, you get a forward range about this far. She is double jointed in the legs. You get lots of ankle rotation on a joint that goes forwards, backwards, and tilts side to side, as well as toe pivot. And you see the heels here. I don't know why they always put them in heels. I guess it works well in space. I mean, pretty sure flats are a thing too, right? Overall, this is like her Ravager suit that's been modified since Guardians of the Galaxy 2. No jacket, she ripped off the sleeve, she had the cybernetic arm, all that good look. I think the head sculpt is actually done really well too. I think my biggest issue with the head sculpts, and I think it's lazy on Bandai's end, at least schematic wise, that they always give them heads that look sideways, because that is Nebula's extra head. Even the lip expression isn't different all that much. I just think looking to the side is pretty boring of them. I would have loved the yelling head. And now at this point, I think it's a little lazy of them on their end to not include something better other than looking left and right, you know? But let's talk about the accessories and things she comes with, and then we'll jump into other stuff, right? So let's actually pose her up. Let's make her look good, because she actually looks like she can get really cool poses, and I've actually done a few already, but she actually looks really good. I love that you can just pose her up like that. No big issues. So we've already talked about the extra head, which actually comes with just her looking to the side. And then we have her sidearm, the little blaster, which is here. The blaster is nice. It's not nothing crazy. It's a metallic paint here, while the gunmetal is for the rest of it. It's detailed pretty well, but doesn't have a wash or anything. So it's a pretty clean design, which is, SHF is known for. The sidearm fits on the side with no issues, and I can just leave her posed up just like that. She also comes with a baton, which is much like a sword, but it's not a sword, obviously. The baton is very nice. We did not get a collapsible version, so you just have this version of her baton. One thing I do like about Nebula, though, and I'll talk about that going forward, is that she does have a nice set of hands that goes well with a bunch of things, which I'll go over. Here you have an open palm. You get one relaxed hand. You get one open palmed hand. This one doesn't look so much relaxed as it does more actiony, so they're not symmetrical in that case. She does have symmetrical gun hands for both left and right. And the thing about the gun's hands, I'll get back to that in a second, which is probably one of my favorite things. Here we have the baton holding hands, or sword holding hands, if you want to give her something separate. This is also going to be pretty cool and comfortable for me when I want to put her on a motorcycle, because most of the Japanese bikes work well with these kinds of hands. Now, I'm going to go back to the gun hand for a second, and as well as the sword hand. This is a Marvel Legends Gamora sword. So I want to test out if this can actually fit into her hands. And yeah, it can. So if you have the Marvel Legends Gamora and you want to add a sword, this actually works pretty well. And as far as the gun holding hands, I know we have her sidearm blaster, but I want to point out that if you have Rocket's gun previously, you can actually make her hold this without any issues. Even the trigger hand can go over. So voila. So for those of you that have all these older guns and things like that, this will work pretty well. And if you don't have the Marvel Legends rocket gun, she can actually still hold the SHF one too. So when you go to where the trigger hand is, slide this in, she can actually hold Rocket's gun too. You want to get rid of this part, and voila. Now you have another cool big gun for her to hold. And she does that a lot in both the comics and in the movies, which kind of just steals whoever weapon is in front of her, and it works out pretty well. But that's as far as she comes with. Unfortunately, because she's a web shop, it's going to feel like she doesn't come with a lot price-wise. Because she's going to be, what, 90, 100 bucks for those of you that parallel import, which makes it tough to justify it. But also, when you're going to get a cool articulated Nebula that's going to be from Infinity War, because we haven't gotten one from Hasbro just yet. We've gotten the Endgame version, we've gotten the Guardians version, but we have not got this version, which is pretty cool. But again, it's all about preference and choice. So if you're okay with the Marvel Legends one, I totally understand why. Me, my preference is going to be SHF. But inside of that, I can talk about the ones I do have, and I can compare them for you guys. So let's talk about that. Let's stand her straight up, make it look real nice for everybody. And this dog is barking in the background, will not stop. So excuse that. That's my neighbor who's letting his dog out and not actually ringing them in. So here we are, Nebula, with her endgame body in the quantum suit. The head actually looks pretty good on the SHF, but the neck pegs don't match. So if you can find a way to make those pegs match, you can actually work something out pretty well there. Let's get these feet flat. I don't know why these feet aren't flattening up. There we go. And here we are with the Guardians version. And this one has smaller heels, but let's actually get them to sit flat. One thing I can say I would have liked was the gimmick that they gave her from the Hasbro one, which is the swapping out of the arm. I think this one is possibly the tallest, but I think head-wise, the SHF is only a little bit smaller. So if you swap this on there and find a way to work out that neck peg issue, I think you'll actually be okay, can work something out. But I think you have a lot of preference here. You can go with Endgame, you can go with Guardians, but my preference is going to be definitely that Infinity War suit. Just works really well. She actually happens to be pretty nice size. Now that we've done that though, let's compare her to a bunch of other SHF and a bunch of other lines so you can see where she stands with that. Here she is next to Black Widow. And as you can see, Nebula is actually significantly taller than the SHF Black Widow. And I'm pretty sure the actress playing her is actually pretty tall as well. So Bandai may have gotten this one pretty right. Here we are with Captain Marvel. And as you can see here, Nebula is taller than both of them. So that's pretty cool. Here we are with a Marvel Legends Gamora. Let's actually get them feet working. Again, with the heels on in the Marvel Legend, I think the SHF still stands at a pretty close height with her, which is pretty nice. Here she is next to SHF Star-Lord. Let's pick his head up a little, not make him look completely far down. Here she is with War Machine, the Mark IV version. Here she is with the Iron Man Mark 50, Infinity War version. Oop, saved one but could not save the other. Ouch. So size-wise, I think she works out pretty well. Bandai actually may have made her a little bit taller to work out the kinks of past mistakes, but maybe it's too late size-wise to compare with other people. Here she is with Doctor Strange lost a foot. Here she is with Doctor Strange. Here she is with Marvel Legends Groot. Next up, we have the SHF Spider-Man. And then we're going to do the Mayfix Spider-Man. She's much taller than the kid, so that's pretty good. Right? Last one SHF-wise, we're going to do Rocket and Thor. And I think with Rocket, she works absolutely the best with, size-wise. So I'm going to have to escort and help Rocket up. And here she is with Thor. So I think size-wise, I think she actually fits in pretty well overall with just about everybody. I mean, give or take a few inches, or maybe if you want to compare it to the real actor's height. But I think they all fiddle with that stuff with camera tricks. So it's really a matter of your preference. One more I just forgot. Here we are with Thanos. And for those of you that are going to ask about the hand, that is done by SHF Upgrade as well as the Blade, SHF Upgrade. You can find them on Facebook. I'll add the link in the description. So there she is with Thanos. Now, we're going to compare it to some other lines, some other things, so we can see how she stacks up. Here is a Marvel Legends War Machine from Endgame. For those of you who want to get your Endgame roster up. He's much bigger armor, things like that. Here is the Hasbro Lightning Collection Magna Defender. Here is an SH Figuarts Kamen Rider ZO. Here is a Marvel Legends Captain America. Right? Voila. A bunch of those ones. Now we're going to compare to a Mezco Gomez, who happens to be the closest thing in sight. Love this guy. And then a Storm Collectibles Cyrax. Then you can fiddle that one around. But that one's going to be tough to match, right? With those two. In any case, I really like this figure. I think it came out really well. I think the biggest flaw is that we've gotten it a little too late. I really wish we would have gotten it sooner along with the other stuff. But better late than not at all. And I think the biggest drawback is it being web shop, not releasing over stateside. Especially when she happens to be such a popular character, at least to me, in my opinion, the people that I speak to. But hopefully you found this informative and it'll help you buy. And most of all, guys, I hope that you do good, be good, and drink your water. Check you later.